Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. All right, well, it's Monday. Oh, you know what? We should have music. There we go. Not that loud. It's a little too loud. There we go. All right, so Monday. We do got some stuff going on this week, right? After this week, it kind of turns into like maybe want to go on vacation. Right? Come and look at where the charts are, where all the different assets moved. Well, so the treasuries, I took a bit of a jump off of that non-farms. So like the headline numbers looked pretty good, but the the unemployment rate ticked up. So the headline number was good, but the household survey was not, and unemployment ticked up. So I think that's why they moved up there, and you know, pretty good move, and they seem to be holding it so far. But it does appear to be, at least here on the open, a little bit of selling. So let's give them a little bit of time and see if they work that out. I'm kind of expecting them to go a little bit higher, but we do got like CPI and stuff this week, right? I think it's this week. S&P 500 about where it was Thursday. Oil recovered from its little dip there below the 68 level. Gold at the high end of its range. Silver actually breaking out there, but you got to remember that silver's kind of been a little bit down compared to gold, so that might not necessarily be like a quote-unquote breakout. Copper. Now, copper, that's a significant breakout right there. That's a significant move in copper. What's going on there? So do we have some stuff going on in China that I didn't read about? Okay, and the yen is heading down again. So, like, broadly speaking, the yen down is going to be good for the economy. It's just like, if it goes down too quickly or too much, then it's a problem for Japan, and then it's a problem for the economy. So, I'm going to say, like, it's okay that it's going down. I don't like how fast it is, but, you know, that's just kind of maybe how it goes. So let's monitor that one. So, Bitcoin seems to be having trouble keeping 100K. But I think that is just profit taking, right? They let it get above 100K, and then some of these guys are taking profits. How much further it goes from here, I don't know. Like, it kind of seems like they're running out of money to put into it. Like, they really need somebody big. Like you're talking about the U.S. starting a Bitcoin strategic reserve, for instance. That's like one of the big stories. But isn't that just like, hey, if the government confiscates Bitcoin, maybe they should just keep it instead of selling it back out on the open market and hurting Bitcoin price, right? Like, that makes sense to me. If it turns into we need to strategically buy Bitcoin with the governments, then I have like a huge problem with that. But I don't think that's what it is yet. So I'm not expecting the US government to be like the next big buyer of Bitcoin. Right now it's just MSTR. Anyways. Oh, so by the way, Uzi, question: have you installed the 311 alpha of the indicators? Because somebody in the paid Discord had an issue that was kind of a little weird. Sorry, it's not 3. It's 332. It's 332. They had an issue that's kind of weird, and I can't duplicate it. I'm just wondering if somebody else could duplicate it. Okay, so do this for me. Go and start a new chart do this on a new chart so it doesn't screw up your existing stuff. Let's see here. It would be like, I have a few things messed up over here. There we go. Okay. So like you start a new chart and you come in, you add indicators, and you add the market order imbalance to it. And then you change this calculate from on each tick to on bar close. And it should give us a little message there that says, no, you're supposed to be using on each tick. And the guy that you get that same thing. And which version of NinjaTrader are you using? Are you using 8.1? 8.1 yada yada yada? Okay. So the bug that Rugsoft is seeing is that it says the log level dot information method does not exist. This is what he gets. So it's maybe he has like an older version of NinjaTrader that doesn't have that in it yet. I think that's what's going on. Okay, but anyways, that answered the question. You haven't had any other problems with it though, yeah? I think I still have one issue. Oh no, and it's gone now. I had an issue, but it's gone, so I don't know if I can duplicate it now. Okay, well, so I gotta think here. What do I have going? Well, first of all, I haven't looked through here very well. New York Fed inflation expectations at 9, 6 and 3 month bill auctions. And what's the schedule like this week? Wait. Weirdly, it displays historical imbalance data for ZB, ZF, and ZT, but not ZN. So let me explain something to you, and it says this probably explain why it's happening. So if you go into the indicator, the new versions of the indicator, they've got this, well, you want to be like on market order imbalance, for instance, right? And you come into the caching section, there's a bunch of different things. So there's, do we load the cache data? Do we save the cache data? Do we save data to the cache if it's tick replay? And then there's the file name style. So if I want to have the market order imbalance on there twice, for instance, right? I want to have it on there twice, and one will have a period of 10 and one will have a period of 60, for instance. Then how does it know which file is which? And so that's what the GUID is there for, right? But the GUID is kind of annoying. Let me pull up the thing here. So like documents, NinjaTrader, saved, right? Like coming in here and finding a file that has all of these, numbers and everything is kind of annoying, right? It's better if it just says oil, 1 minute, the indicator, and the date, right? And so I had to create, I gave you the option to change. So the default is like this one, where it just has a name. Then there's one that's like GUID, right? Then there's another one that's full, that is like what it was before. But I wouldn't recommend using the full one because that kind of creates some complications when you want to use backtesting. That's basically what prompted this change, was the backtesting. You can also do custom, and you can just, if I'm only using one of them and I can just say foo, can just call it foo, and it would save them as foo or something like that. So what might be happening there is that your ZN, you might not have the, he says, I think it's a tick data issue. Oh, okay. I don't know. Another thing that I changed in this is there's a log level. So NinjaTrader has its own log level, but I decided to make my own with my own enums. So if you don't want it to spit anything out ever, you can just change it to none, right? I would probably choose to put it on errors at the very least. If something goes wrong, you want to be able to see the errors print out at the console. Info will also print out like details, right? But these other ones will give you messages that, like, if you're having a problem with the indicator, I might ask you to change it to debug and send me the data that it spits out in debug. So ZN is displaying all of Friday, but there's a gap in today. Oh, okay. Well, so, like, if you look on my chart here, that's actually interesting, but maybe we'll sort out why. So if you look at my chart here, you can see that all of my market depth ones, that there's like a gap in the chart. Like if we go back, you can see last Friday's stuff, right? But then there's the gap because NinjaTrader wasn't open, right? But my market order imbalance doesn't do that. Why is that? Because market order imbalance can be reconstructed from tick replay data. So if you have tick replay turned on the chart and you have the indicator itself set to have save tick replay is checked, then the gap should be filled. Should basically say, oh, I don't have a cached value for this. I'm just going to use what I'm constructing from tick replay to do it. And then I don't want to change my settings on my main chart here, but like if I come over to this one, the cumulative delta, there's a gray historical bars, right? So it's telling me, okay, these ones were constructed from tick replay and these ones were constructed from live. But it's fine on all the other treasuries. Yeah, I bet you that if you... Show me a picture of the cache settings on the indicator. Have all of those turned on? It's a default. But do you have all of the checkboxes checked? And it doesn't spit anything out to the Ninja script output window either, huh? Interesting. Nothing. It's calculating correctly, like new bars it's calculating correctly. It's just not calculating the tick replay stuff, huh? And you have tick replay turned on the chart too, yeah? It says yes. You could try removing the indicator and putting it back on, but... Oh, you know what else might be doing it is, yeah, there's also, like, if this is the first or second day you're using it, there's this kind of weird edge case that happens with, like, the old data. Took +5 off of that, huh? Interesting. I sent a picture. Yeah, that's weird. But only on ZN does it do that. Show me a picture of, like, the settings for the indicator, like with the cache section of it. Like this section right. Oops. This section right here. Okay. Oh no, no. Show me the whole thing. I want to see the GUID too. You got the important part is right. I wanted to see the GUID too. Oh well, okay. So first thing is change the log level from none to errors. Okay, but it has a good GUID in there. Oh, so big. There you go. Okay, so if you do that and you refresh the chart, does anything pop out in the Ninja script output window? I'm gonna guess still no, but we should check. Okay. Do this. Find in the NinjaTrader saved folder the cached file and send it to me. I'm really curious now. Why it's doing this. My guess is that the old cache data, that the file has like old cache data in it or something like that. So it's reading that stuff out, but it doesn't like it or something like that. Because like, we'll pull this out. Already closed it. Okay, so where would that file be? So you go to your NinjaTrader 8 documents, NinjaTrader 8 saved. And then, you know, it'll be like ZN. You have to scroll all the way down. ZN 1 minute. Market order imbalance. And then today's date, right? So if I open that up here for you in news shell, okay, so here's the new one. So like the old one won't have this first line, and it won't have, oh, actually this one that I'm loading up right here doesn't have it. What's with that? Stacking, pulling, total difference. Oh, that's the level 2 changes. It needs to be, that's why. And 1 minute. Oh, you know what? It's because I have a GUID on it, isn't it? But I'm not finding it. Yeah, it is. It's A8. F8. A8. Yes, there we are. I'll show you. Okay, yeah. So like part of the reason why it might not be compatible is like there's this first line, and then there's also this recorded live field. Huh. Oh, you're using a different template, aren't you? What is your session template? You have it set to use instrument sync. Oh, but you do see a difference between them, huh? Yeah, see, that's wrong. Oh, man. Okay, so here's what you do then. This must be the ZN one, huh? Yeah, so just delete the ZN file and then refresh the chart. That can't be the extended session now. Kind of weird. Fixed it. Yes. So what happened was you had a setting on the chart earlier today, right? That made it that made it save bad cached data. So then every time that you were refreshing, it actually was pulling from cache. It's just that what it was pulling from cache was saying that it's all zeros, right? So once you deleted the file and it regenerated that data, then it reconstructs that history and works correctly. Good job. Good job, team. All right, so I was thinking about if I should make my my fair value gap indicator fair value gap. What are the features that I want in Seth's fair value gap? Multiple display types. Let's say draw square, draw extended square, color bar. Extended squares, extend until what do we call it? Retraced. Extend until retraced. And use DX drawing. So an indicator like this, I'll show you an example. Maybe I need to rewrite this one too. Okay, so we have a 1 minute chart of ZN on here. And then if I come in and I add my PGN price pivots, I don't know what some of these settings are there for. Maybe they shouldn't be there. Okay. But anyways, they add all of these. You know, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. But, like, it adds so many drawings in here. Drawing, how do I get into that? Properties? Properties? There you go. Okay. So when you look at this, the number of drawings that it adds onto the chart is obscene. And for certain computers, or you have certain settings wrong and things like that, it just totally kills the chart. Like it's not good. So we want to make it so that we're drawing these things using the DX drawing code so that it's lightning fast. And then I can also do stuff like, okay, which are the drawings that are visible now? I can only draw those. So it'd be blazing fast. I have never done something that draws on the main data series though. So I want to test that. Do I think that the market is going to be slow today? That I should just program it? Yeah, I never opened it up. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. It's hiding over here. There it is. Yes. Okay. CPI is Wednesday. PPI is after that. Import prices. There is auctions this week also. Next week. Oh, yes. Okay, so next week has the Federal Reserve meeting. So still important data. So we'll have, you know what? So a lot of the time when you get into the later part of the month, it's like these first 2 weeks are pretty active. And then the next week is like nada. But because of where Christmas lies and all of that, we're okay. Like a year ago or 2 years ago when Christmas was on a Monday, then it was kind of like that week before was kind of yucky. But this week time it's okay. So we should have decently active trading both this week and next week. Although it being Monday and the way that their treasuries are acting right now and there not being any news, I think they probably will be relatively constrained. So I think that I should work on my my new indicator. Like my thinking here is because I don't think there's anything to the fair value gap thing, right? I think that people are fooling themselves. But there's a lot of people out there that claim to be making money with it. So if there's that many people that are using it and claiming to making money from it, I'm going to make the best tool for it there possibly can be. That's what I'm going to do. So let's do a little test here and see if I can get this to work. I'm going to make it an alpha indicator first. Says they can't. Octavia says it's garbage. Uzi says the fair value gap is just single prints. They can work, sure. So kind of, sort of. I mean, I would say that if you have a 1 minute chart up, right? And you have quote unquote single, that's not really the same thing, right? Like to me, single prints have to be on 30-minute bars. So it means that it was only touched once in a 30-minute period, right? Or it was only touched one 30-minute period out of the day and then never touched again, right? I think that that's a little bit different from, well, that's all relative in it. Yeah, exactly. But also the way that they use it is different. Because, well, is it the way that they use it different? the sheep use it on 2 minutes and spews. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, touched once in 1 minute, touched once in 10 years. I don't know. But I think that there's a couple of things about it that make it difficult for people to test. Like, okay, so where was the last fair value gap? You have to like detect when a fair value gap happened and then like remember it, and then do something specific when it comes back to that fair value gap price and everything, right? Which basically involves, I mean, it's a simple thing. It basically involves you placing a variable for when a fair value gap occurs and, doing all of that bit, right? But like TradingView is not necessarily going to do that for you, right? And so a real beginner isn't going to be able to use some of the beginner tools like TradingView, or like NinjaTrader has its like auto strategy builder thing where you come in and you tell it, okay, here's this, use this indicator and use these things, and then it creates a strategy for you, right? And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to make one that solves all of those problems. It makes it much more clear, because what we'll do is we'll draw, like, you're going to have a fair value gap, right? So here's the fair value gap. And then, we're going to have these bars and it's going to keep going. And then eventually the fair value gap gets covered, right? And that's where they say to buy it right here, right? That's when they say buy it right here and yada, yada, yada. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little box like this. It says, okay, until the fair value gap is completely closed, we're going to draw it. So you can see when the fair value gap, you can see here's where it got created, here's where it got closed, and what happened afterwards. And since we'll be able to see where it got closed, we'll be able to trigger events off of that, so that the strategy can say when something, when it gets there, what happens after that, right? Yeah, that's how the TV version of that. Wait, what's the TV TradingView version of? Does there a TradingView version that draws an extended line? Is there? Well, I'm sure there's probably multiple ones, but let's go look. Okay, TradingView. Or are you saying that TradingView has one that's like an official one that does that? Okay. First we have to come into super charts, I guess. I still have it on AT&T. That's funny. Let's put it on yes. Yeah, not an official one. Okay. Well, there's a bunch of them. Is it the Lux Algo one? Oh, I have to use my... No, I don't want to do that. Will it not let me use the community indicators now? Oh, the list of indicators applied to the chart. No, it added them. Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, yes, it does do that. Exactly. Except for that it doesn't... Oh, no, that's interesting. So there's settings in there. Extend... Dynamic. What is the dynamic extension? That's interesting. And is it only allowed to have one? That's curious to me that it does it that way. Oh, that's what the dynamic bit does. I see. the dynamic one says if I have basically you only have one buy fair value gap and one sell value fair value gap at a time, and so when it moves up, it moves it up to there. I see. And on this, it only extends for a certain amount of time. So if I change this extend to like 200, yeah, then the lines continue on. So then you could say, so that extend number, I will call it something different. I will call it like decay. So we'll say fair value gap doesn't matter after this many bars. Right? So there will be some things that my indicator will do behind the scenes for programming purposes that this one doesn't do. But from the position of somebody putting it on a chart, that is kind of like the thing that I was talking about. That's exactly what I was saying. Well, now when you look at it, I don't know. I mean, I guess there was a fair value gap right there, and it came over and cleared it, right? Granted, it was kind of a small, trivial one, and there was like a significant hive in that spot as well. So I don't know if you could read too much into that. Here's a fair value gap from Friday that has to be closed, right? Once you have them extended, so what I'm thinking right now is one of the things about the fair value gap that will trick people is that they'll see, okay, it came over to this fair value gap and then it reversed. And so you're only looking at that fair value gap and you're missing all of the other ones that didn't matter, essentially, right? So now I'm thinking maybe let's see what people have done in NinjaTrader. Many of the indicators are not a single number to think to view. Yeah. But like that's the issue, is that they'll say, okay, came down, it came to this fair value gap and then bounced, but then it's like, oh yeah, but actually there's a fair value gap here and here and here and here and here, and how come these ones didn't matter and this one did? And it didn't bounce, like when it reached this fair value gap, it didn't bounce down there, right? And you just didn't notice that one was a fair value gap, or you ignored it or something like that, right? Because if you're going to come in and you're going to do, but what we can do, basically what I can do is I can say, if a fair value gap was closed within the last 5 minutes and now we are lower again, then take a trade and see how it turns out, right? We can backtest that, and that's a lot easier to backtest with the way that my indicator will be set up, or to automate if you wanted to automate. Where's the user app share? There we go. find free user created apps. I don't know why Google is not sending me to it. Yes. If you change, no. Actually, no. If you change the period on the market balance, MBI. Wait, what does MBI stand for? Market order imbalance. Yeah, okay. You can switch the period on one indicator back and forth. That's a problem. Yeah, if you change the period of it, then you'd have to delete the old file and refresh. Exactly. Oh, but I see what you're saying. You're saying that, like, naive users not going to know that. That when you remove the indicator you want to change it, that you have to delete the cached data. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with that? Can we detect when a setting has changed and clear the cache? I think we probably could. Okay, well, let me write that one down. That's a good catch, Uzi. I wonder if we can make a thing where it's like, if you just changed a property and there was already cached data, it should warn you and say, do you want to clear cache? Your old data will be removed, or something like that. Users should be able to cycle through period options without extra steps. That's a really interesting. I mean, I think that if it works off tick replay, does it need caching data, or is that an option for backtesting? So it's kind of both. Yes. So you can turn the tick replay off. So if you wanted to cycle between them, what I would recommend is untick the save cached data and load cached data bits. Those two checkboxes. And then it should be doing it completely from tick replay, and then you would be able to switch between periods and try a couple of different things and things like that. So really just slap that. I mean, yes and no. We can definitely put that in documentation and videos that I'll make about it. But I think that chances are that there will be okay, like the thing is, I want to have so we have like somewhere around 150, 200 like total users of the indicators. And I want to get to a point where we're adding 100 paid users of the indicator a month, right? And in that situation, that's definitely going to come up, right? That's definitely going to come up. So I think that the indicator itself needs to be able to handle and explain that to users. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you can actually detect. So you can definitely detect like when there's a state change and everything. But is there a way to say, okay, they actually changed a setting? Because I think that the NinjaTrader indicator like refreshes at that point, right? And so we would want to be able to detect that event. Is there enough information when that event happens to tell why it's happening, to be able to say to the user, oh, we need new cache data or something like that. Or like, you could say, If when that happens, not delete the old cache data, but like when that happens, to add the Is that why I had the full? I think that the full will give you like the settings as well. Ah, yeah, that's right. I am right. If you use the full one, oh, so maybe I need to add some more settings for the name possibility. That's probably a better solution to it. Granted, if you're going around in your changing settings like that, it will you know, it will create new cache files for every time that every period that you end up using, right? Okay, but we can deal with that. So look at that for the next version. I keep saying, like, I can see why platforms haven't necessarily done this, because it's a complicated thing, and like it kind of asks a lot of the user, right? It asks the user to understand a lot of things, but I kind of feel like that to develop the kind of edge that most retail traders are looking for, that's just what you got to do, right? Like, you have to understand things. So is it correct that stop orders are held at your broker and not the exchange order broker? So it depends on, there are platforms that have stop orders that are held by your data provider or your broker. But it's not very common. And in cases where it's like that, there's like settings and so forth for you to specify. But that is a real gotcha that does happen, yes. Oh yeah, I know what we were doing. We're looking at the app share. Search. Oh, that's weird. Kind of seems to me like the NinjaTrader user app share site is not working correctly, or is having issues right now. Like, took a long time for it to refresh, and these drop-down windows don't work. Let's try Chrome. I don't have Chrome installed, huh? Microsoft Edge. No, I don't want to. Well, it's taking long to load over there too, and it has the same problem. And the search window doesn't work either. Like, there isn't a search window. Nick says, would some indicators, what do you mean by that? So for my indicator suite, you can put them on any instrument that you want within NinjaTrader. Now, some of them, if you do not have market depth data, aren't going to work. But like, for instance, stocks, there is ways to get market depth data so that they show you that, so that they work on that. So now currencies like Forex currencies, there's no way to get market depth for those, so that's won't work on those. But you can put them on currency futures to show you kind of some other different weird things. I don't know if it would be necessarily useful, but yep. All you got to do is go to speculatorseth.com and go to the download section and download the indicator. You can use it free for 2 weeks, and then after that you need a lifetime license, which only costs $100 one time. In the future, I'm going to up it so that we have more budget to market. That's why other indicators are more expensive, and we want to build. I think what somebody would think, oh well, Seth, if you need more money, you should just be able to trade, right? Well, but we're trying to raise amounts of money that you're not going to be able to realistically get through a retail day trading. So, but I do think we can build up the indicator suite and get enough income coming in from that to fund the development. And then we want to build our own platform. Man, I'm really mad that the app share is not working correctly. I guess I could try Ninja Trader user app share fair value gap, perhaps. There's one. This one was from about a year ago. Interesting. There's a lot in this, actually. So let's see what these other, come on, download. Let's see what these other settings are that they have in there. Do we want to include those as well? That they have a boolean for is data loaded is a little concerning to me. You shouldn't need that. They're adding a bar type. Is that defined in this same file later on? I guess we'll find out. See there on state loaded is data loaded true? Why would you need to do that? You should be able to tell. Okay, so one interesting thing is that they seem to be running on the assumption. So you got to go to a dentist. Oh. That like the fair value gap ceases to matter at the end of that session, or at least some people think that, and so they have something to like at the end of the session end them. So let's add that to our list. Session handling. Okay, so they're saying this one right here is an impulse, is basically saying, is the size of the gap larger than some factor of the average true range? Okay. It does things so partly the way that I would think that you do it. So you like it has a list. If GVs fail to continue, and they just have all of this old code commented out. But the old code was adding a drawing object, right? Which is exactly what we were saying, like, can slow the chart down. And that I want to see if I can do without that. Wait, is this in the... Oh, no. Where's... Oh, there we go. Check field if. There we go. Dang, they got a lot of properties in this thing. So this bar type is not in there though. You must have to download that somewhere else. See if they've got if this is actually the most up-to-date version. Well, this one they're talking about 0023, and we had 0030. Oh, but this is created by somebody different. Trade copier. Oh, look, there is a... Oh, no, wait. 003... Ah, there it is. Yes, 0031. Oh, that's weird. But it goes to 0031. Oh, there's right there. Max days forward. Okay. Well, we got the S&P 500 moving now. It's on the open. So far, a little bit of downside, but nothing too significant yet. I can close this. So the other day we found this business that was on Biz Buy Sell. Was like, oh, maybe we could do that, because it was basically like the whole thing was already set up. They're not making that much from it. They're making like $20,000 a year. But I'm like, I think you could improve upon that. Like, you just go on TikTok or something like that. Except for that TikTok is going to get banned. So I don't know if that's like a super, but still a good, like a good side hustle. I don't know. It is a lot of debt to take on, because they want $100,000 for it. And I think that you would, and that doesn't include their inventory. So you probably would actually want to spend $140,000, if not $200,000 in debt, right? So you're taking $200,000 in debt for something that makes $20,000 a year. So you would, you know, at its current size, it would take you 10 years. So you would really have to grow the business to make it worth it. That's the risk with it. I don't know if that's for me or not. Maybe if my wife was super gung-ho about it. But maybe she would be if she didn't have to do her day job so much. Watch the kids so much. So maybe this isn't the time. But that's like the perfect kind of business that I want to get involved in. So now that I've thought about that, I'm going to close that window. And we're going to try our fair value gap. So this one is an overlay through. Indicators. Set alpha. Fair value gap. Okay. Okay, cool. Next part would be adding a draw on render. So if I override the on render for an overlay indicator, what happens? Does that actually work? Okay. On to the next test. Market makers in control? I think so. And they're not really taking on enough inventory to really get any kind of like interesting behaviors or anything like that for us to trade off of. It just seems like it's a very, very quiet market this morning in the treasuries. They maybe have a little bit of long inventory, but the number of things that I have to add just to get a simple box of draws kind of thing. Okay. Okay. Boy, lots of stuff to clean up. Gus, good morning. How are you? Kind of a slow morning, I think. Totally forgot that we're supposed to be putting a video out today. And the pictures that the video editor picks is, what do you guys think of that one? Should we run with it? There we go. I think that's hilarious. I would prefer one that's like the mouth open and everything, but I think we can go with that. Yeah. Yeah, big brain moment, exactly. Oh, interesting. Needs that. He doesn't need that. Oh, I see. These bits are not needed. was the line part of a handle. Okay. Little surprised that took, but okay. Oh, you know why? It's not even calling it. That's why. Forgot the most important part. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, cool. So it works. It draws a gigantic square on the chart. I am pleased. I was worried that it wouldn't do that because they're like overlay and all of this sort of stuff. But since it does, I can do what I want to do now. Well, I guess we're kind of in an interesting spot because we're at the low of the regular session in the Treasury. Sorry, I'm thinking about a bunch of different things at the moment. Good question. I was saying which face would be better. Let me look. I'm wondering what's the of the videos that I've done in the past. I want to try the serious one. Yeah, I want to try the serious one. I want to see how it does. Tell you what, they've been they got to an interesting place in the treasuries, but they've just been sitting there for a long time now, haven't they? I feel like I have a lot of things to do today, but it's actually not that much. Oh, we got plenty of time too. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry. AO asks, will today be a distribution of inventory in the ES? I'm thinking that today will be a people don't do much of anything day. So, you know, because we have CPI later this week on Wednesday, granted there is some stuff tomorrow. I think there's an auction tomorrow, is it? Let me check here again. What was it that we have tomorrow? Oh, actually, there's not really anything tomorrow. Yeah, so I think that today and tomorrow people are going to be sitting on their hands mostly. When you look at the S&P 500, just as an example, and you look at the change in cumulative delta off of the open, it's not a very big change. There's not any kind of usually if you come into a previous day, you know, that's probably going to be a bad example because that was a big news day. Okay, so like here's what you will typically see is a little bit of a change and then, you know, somewhat of a trend. We're just not getting that much. It's just kind of a little bit of noise, and so it's kind of a meh day so far. Yep, we're going sideways. So this would be a good place to look for, like, okay, like expect it to trade within the range, and if it goes outside of that range randomly, to maybe trade it on it going back into it. But those aren't necessarily the best trades. Like on a day like today, you might get into a trade and just feel like you're stuck in it. So if you have that problem where you don't have all day, then it might not be worth making any plays.
block sell.
Okay, that was interesting. So, about 5,000 contracts just flooded through here in the treasury market, and a large offer of 6K showed up at 07.5. We'll see if the robots decide to fill him or not. That could be somebody just trying to get a fill here. So now at downtick, we'll see how much it takes to clear 06.5. There's a 4K MBO sitting on there. Well, they're not hitting the 06.5. We might get to see them test the 07.5, see if people start trying to buying into it, if it pulls or not. Like, in this situation, that seems really suspicious. It's fairly late in the session. There's not really any news going on or anything like that. So it could be either a surprise headline or somebody's playing a trick. And I'm not seeing the headline, so maybe it's a trick. Like, I'd be concerned about if there's like a lots of absorption at 06.5. That would really indicate to me that it's a trick. I'm not seeing other assets really react either, by the way. Like, not really anything. Okay, so they traded through 06.5 with about 14. So nobody's holding it on the other end. Now there is a decent amount of liquidity to 06. The way that I like to play one like this, though, is to not entertain them, right? Like, if that's a trick, then I don't want to be creating liquidity for them. Okay, it is disappeared. We didn't trade 4,000. There was 4,000 at 6, right? We didn't trade 4,000, but we traded 2,000 and the order disappeared. So far, it's looking a lot
Block
like
sell.
Well, that's weird. I can see the 07 half pulled off, but I don't see when it was added. That's really interesting. Am I crazy? Oh, maybe it just happened too long ago. But that's where it top holds. Well, I would say that with the way this has played out so far, that I'm still leaning on the suspicious spoofing scenario. No, I feel like it's too obvious that the play just reversed at 07. Trade it back to the point of control. There is something going on in Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a little bit of a spike and it's coming all the way back down now. It's fallen further. Poland dime. What does that mean? Gold's looking mighty nice today. Oh, we're in the hole, yeah. You might be right. I mean, when we have a spoof like that, usually something weird happens, so yeah. I don't know if enough volume has actually occurred here at 06 half to have a really strong hole, but it may be coming in. I mean, we've certainly become range bound. Vish says, hi, welcome to the stream. That's a new name. A little anime user profile picture there. Wish it was bigger so I could see it. This is, to be honest with you though, Vish, today is probably not the best day to come in because the market is pretty range bound and not that, well, it was interesting there for a second with the treasuries, but you know, we called it as a spoof. Kind of hasn't done a whole lot since then. So well, I guess we get to browse Reddit. Update on stress survey results. Recently, we conducted a survey to understand your feelings about stress at work. Many of you shared your concerns, which we deeply value and respect. As a company committed to fostering a healthy and supportive environment, we have carefully considered the feedback to ensure that no one remains stressed at work. We have made the difficult decision to part ways with employees who indicated significant stress. What the fuck? I'm sorry, I should not have. We're trying to be family friendly, but seriously, this can't be real. The decision is effective immediately, and impacted employees will receive further details separately. Thank you for your contributions. That is what company is that? Nobody ever gonna work for them again. Holy crap! That is so insane. Yeah, it is definitely now. So now that I'm seeing like the 3K806 half and everything, now it's definitely like we're in a hole. Yeah, there's a move in the spoos going down. He didn't seem too happy about something. That's probably something going on in an individual stock, though. Oh, you know what? Totally wasn't even paying attention. Do you see that there was this little change here in the resting order? So after that push down. Interesting, though, that big order did not get put on all at once. It's taken off all at once, but it wasn't put on all at once. Hold up, something's going on here. I was getting a strange increase in level 2 activity here. I think that the market makers here in Xi'an are trying to decide if they want to do something. Vivius says the yen is going. Yeah, that's a good point. The yen has kind of been falling. Bitcoin is falling too. Like Bitcoin's coming up to its lowest level of the day. With the yen, I should note that the treasuries have kind of been going sideways here. The yen has continued falling, so. Do you guys trade crypto as well? I'm not freaking. We talk about crypto. Well, I mean, when everybody's talking about it, we talk about it. But I would not recommend day trading cryptocurrencies. So, you get a good high level view of what's going on there. If you join our paid server, there is I regularly post a valuation indicator for Bitcoin that I post over there. Kind of suggests right now that crypto is moving into the like madness acceleration phase. But today it's not doing so well, is it? And you're still just kind of chilling there. I think one of the sucky things about this situation is like, okay, so like maybe you trade it on a break out of the range, which would probably be like if we started trading 08. But by the time you start trading that, it's probably already too late. Like chances of it slipping back in that range are really high. And like what would be the upside? 09, right? So you get like your risk reward isn't very good because like your risk would be 3 ticks and your reward would be 2 ticks. And the probability of it falling back into that 2 ticks I think are still pretty good too. So it's not the best trade. I mean, if you took it at 06 half, then a different thing, right? Or you maybe even 07 would probably be okay. But like, I kind of think this one's a crapshoot. Bitcoin is still moving down. That seems to be the thing that's moving the most at the moment. Some selling, pretty strong selling coming through in Bitcoin. Okay, and there's the uptick. I'm actually, you know what? I could be wrong about this. Like as soon as it's doing it, I feel like it could be wrong. I think it's too late for me to try and take a trade off of it, but there is enough delta on this that this could be a more extended, this could be a more extended move trend. There seems like there's a real meta order behind this. And probably the upside target would actually be 10 half. So in that scenario, I think 08 isn't a terrible trade. It's all a little suspicious, though, that like you have that big order come up. Maybe it was that somebody was always going to buy it. So the issue is that '08 was where that kind of like that big order came about and everything. I really do wonder if that was somebody trying to spoof up some liquidity for themselves to buy, and maybe it just didn't really work very well. Well, I mean, it came down like a few ticks, so who knows how much they actually got filled down there. Okay, so there is a little bit of a redistribution here around the '08 half. So that trend may already be over. We'll just have to see. Like, there was enough of a change in there that... Well, I take that back, because it is a 10K change. Like, that would have to be pretty unusual order for it to make another leg. I don't know. Oh, this was significant downtick that time. So maybe that is the end of it. At the very least, the market makers reacted to that. Oh man, it's coming back real fast. And on hardly any delta either. Oh man. S&P 500 still selling, by the way. So what the VWAP did you take it at the VWAP, or you let it fall back first at like 08? Does kind of look like a VWAP bounce move, doesn't it? I don't know if they're gonna make a new low quite yet, but a little bit wary about that last move actually, because it happened so quick and it was basically on like no delta. So that one really looks to me like, you know, there was a buy meta order. That buy meta order ceased, shall we say. That buy meta order ceased, and somebody panicked when they realized that happened and kind of puked what they had. And that's why it came back so quickly. But not a whole lot of delta change overall. And so the most likely thing I think to happen now is for us to rotate between 07 and 07.5 or forever. And then, well, if nothing comes in, then the market makers might inject a little bit more randomness into the market and try and break out that range and do all sorts of crazy things. If there's another meta order in there, then we get another trend and probably get up as high as 10 next trade. So I'm still kind of in the feeling of that it's probably not very good place to for trade. Bitcoin's still falling here. Japanese yen reversing a little bit though, so that helps us in the treasuries. The S&P 500, it's been on a bit of a bender down, but nothing too crazy yet. Do you have gold and silver shorts on right now? Oh, I guess if you over the last hour. I was gonna say, like, gold and silver have been good buys today, though. Like, I'm actually really impressed with the degree of uptrend that gold had there. And the one in silver looks really, you know, come back and look at it on the volume profile, like we were pointing out at the beginning. So, like, gold is breaking out of that range. And silver is really, really breaking out of that range. When we started this, it was just like right there. It was at the top of its range. But it broke out like in a meaningful way. So I'm not saying you can't make money from like the pullbacks and everything. I'm just surprised that that's the one that you took. It was, yeah, just a quick scalp. Totally for a quick scalp. So, by the way, if we come back to oil, what about oil? See, this spot in the treasuries is mighty suspicious to me. You know, like, we've got auctions later in the week and all of that. I really just don't see a, like, you know, today. That's extremely unlikely. And similarly, a bounce, it's probably more likely a double distribution. So it's either going to be a double distribution where the distribution is here and here, or it could bounce back up to here, or it could bounce, or it could. You know, those are the scenarios I think are the most likely. But either way, with it being a Monday and everything, just doesn't provide us with very good looks, I don't think. But I'm about to hear the ding sound here in 5 seconds, and I do have a meeting after this. I don't have it on. Did I, like, take it off of the chart or something? I must have taken it off of the chart. Or closed that chart. This is supposed to make the sound. Let me add it to this one. Yeah, it's not there. Line at time 8:55. Line with a dotted, and where's the sound name right there? Light.wave. Okay. Well, You know, let's add the other one too. Line it time 7:30 dot. There we go. That's better. All right, guys. Well, I mean the real trade here would have been to go short the S&P 500. And let's see where we're up at the 90s. Were we? Yeah, we're up in the 90s. So 20 points. That wouldn't have been a bad trade. That wouldn't have been a bad trade at all. It kind of seems like not such a big deal, but it actually is. It actually is. And it's actually even breaking some of this down here. Remember, I think earlier I was pointing out this kind of line right here. But this is looking more like a more significant break. Granted, the way that these tend to play out, they like recover it all by the end of the day. But you know, this could be a significant week. Like this could maybe be a turning point week for, you know, at least like a short-term pullback, perhaps. Let's just see. It's kind of it's being a little weird. This movement in the indexes seems like not what we normally see this time of year. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get going. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay excellent, team.